Yo, what is up, Raider Nation? It's your boy Samori back at it again with yet another video. I know it's been quite a while. I know last week it's been kind of crazy. I was busy with all the WrestleMania festivities that were going on over here in Las Vegas. Was a crazy weekend, had a lot of fun, but now we're getting back to some Raiders football, and we are just days away from the NFL draft, and we could finally find out who the Raiders will draft at number 6. But before we get to that, I just want to say thank you to everybody that has constantly been supporting this channel throughout the past couple of months. And like I said, this week is draft week, and I'm really excited for it, not only because we get to find out who we're going to pick, but also because I'm going to be at the Palms Casino covering the Raiders official draft party here in Las Vegas. So I'm going to be meeting a lot of fans, talking to some alumni, and just reacting with the rest of the Raider Nation on who the Raiders end up drafting. But one thing's for sure, coming out of this weekend is I feel a little bit more confident that the Raiders are going to make the playoffs this year, and we're going to have a good year. And I know we say that almost every single year, but this year's different for the simple fact that WrestleMania was in town. Ironically enough, every city that has hosted WrestleMania, their teams have made the playoffs that upcoming year. You look at WrestleMania 37 at Raymond James Stadium, the Buccaneers went on to make the divisional round. WrestleMania 38 at AT&T Stadium, the Cowboys made it to the divisional round that season. WrestleMania 39 at SoFi Stadium, the Rams ended up making the wild card that season. Last year, WrestleMania 40 at Lincoln Field, the Eagles went on to win the Super Bowl and defeated the Kansas City Chiefs. And now this year, WrestleMania 41 here at Allegiant Stadium, that can only mean one thing, right? The Raiders will make the playoffs. Now, hopefully I could come back to this and look at it and be like, damn, I was right. So first things first, let's talk about Jalen Milroe. Now, according to Jeremy Fowler, he believes that the Las Vegas Raiders may look to potentially draft Alabama quarterback Jalen Milroe in the 2025 draft. Last week, the Raiders confirmed that they are still remaining open about drafting a quarterback in the draft. Fowler stated that the Las Vegas Raiders, I know, are on Milroe's radar because they have Geno Smith. Vegas would be a team he would love to go to slide behind Geno Smith for a couple of years and learn. Now, to add on to that, Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk also has said that Smith just signed a 2-year extension in Las Vegas, but the Raiders can get away from his contract easily in 2 years. The Geno deal could be scrapped after one season, with the only consequence being the dead money hit in 2026. Now, to me, I do believe that Jalen Milroe is a more realistic day 2 option, early day 2 option for the Raiders, or maybe a late first round pick, depending on how much a team would really want to move up to get him. Now, if he was sitting there at number 37, I would say he would be one of my top quarterbacks in this year's draft, and he's a quarterback that can sit behind Geno Smith for a couple of years. He's the perfect type of project at the quarterback position for this team because I think he has the highest ceiling out of any quarterback in this year's draft. The only knock on him is that he has the lowest floor. Jalen Milroe could get it done with his legs. He even has the arm strength to, throw deep balls, maybe make some electric plays, but he does still have to work and fine-tune a lot of his skill set in the NFL. And with a guy like Geno Smith and with, an offense coordinator like Chip Kelly and Pete Carroll as the head coach, I do believe he's a quarterback that can flourish with the Las Vegas Raiders. And heck, maybe if he falls a little farther in the third round, that would be a huge steal, but I highly doubt that he falls that far. Milroe was definitely one of the quarterbacks that impressed the Raiders during the NFL Combine and during this whole draft process when they met up with him. Now, another quarterback that impressed the Raiders and could be available on day 2 could be former Texas Longhorn quarterback Quinn Ewers. To me, those are 2 realistic options for the Raiders. And I don't think that they would even address that quarterback position in the first round. I feel like Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders are the only quarterbacks that we could pick with that number 6 pick. Any other quarterback in this draft would be too rich at that number 6 position. Unless the Raiders are willing to trade back in this year's draft to acquire a little bit more picks, maybe you could get your quarterback in the first round, which the team isn't opposed to.
Well, when you're picking 6, you only got to figure out 5 different combinations or players that could possibly go. And our pro department up there right now with Ben and Jordan and Jordy's doing a great job of tracking visits and private workouts and who was at pro days to try to, figure out, kind of where these teams might go to help you prepare. But at the same time, that's a lot of wasted energy to me because at the end of the day, we have no idea what these teams are going to do. We have a sense, but we're guessing. And I think our focus, Coach and I's focus, is more on the Raiders and like, are we comfortable with a stack of players that are there at 6? Would we trade out? Would we trade up? Would we just stay and pick? What does that look like? You know, like if there's 1 or 2 guys there that we love, we'll probably just stay and pick. If there's a guy that falls that we don't expect to fall, maybe we go get him. Or maybe we've got a group of players we feel comfortable with a little bit further back. And so we'd love to gather more trade assets and, you know, have more darts to throw at the dartboard here, so to speak. And
that covered all the options right there.
Yeah, I know.
Very well done. Very well.
Thank you. I'm learning from this guy. So, again, we're focused really on us at this point. You know, the teams in front of us are going to do what they can do. We've got no control over that, and we better be ready to pick when we're up at 6.
Now, still talking about the quarterback position, one guy that would love to have Shedeur Sanders on this team, especially at number 6, is the president of the Raider Nation, Ice Cube. This is what he had to say about the Colorado quarterback.
Do you want him?
Of course. I think he's pedigree. You cannot dismiss that. He's seen how to do it on the professional level for a very long time. Has a great, amazing coach and Hall of Famer, Deion Sanders, coach and father, So I think he's ready for the NFL. And, if he's there, the Raiders should take him. But if not, the Raiders should probably look at the defensive side of the ball, because they got to still deal with some great quarterbacks in the AFC West. So, we got to make sure we can stop somebody, because scoring ain't the only thing.
It's exactly how I feel about the Raiders picking in the first round. Of course, Shedeur Sanders should be the number 1 option. If not, let's go address the best player available. Go get the best defensive player to help this team out, whether it's Will Johnson, Mason Graham, or maybe if Abdul Carter fell in our laps, I think that would be the perfect pick. But other than that, the Raiders don't need to go offense in the first round. There's a lot of offensive pieces out there, but I think the Raiders will be okay with however they pick. I feel like the only offensive pick that the Raiders should make outside of quarterback and maybe even wide receiver is the offensive line. But we'll have to wait and see what the Raiders actually do, and hopefully they don't just draft somebody that surprises everybody on draft day. Now, one guy that does believe that they should be drafted, and maybe drafted as high as number 6, is Ashton Jeanty himself.
I think the earliest that I would go is number 6. That's my belief. And that would be the Raiders at that pick, or somebody else trading up to get in front of them possibly. I think that's what's gonna happen.
And honestly, it doesn't surprise me at all. I mean, of course, he knows that the Raiders at number 6 is going to be the highest he goes, because all the teams before us don't really need a running back like that. Now, there's a lot of rumors going around that maybe the Jacksonville Jaguars might go and snatch up Ashton Jeanty, but we'll just have to wait and see. Every single mock draft out there, every single report that I've been reading over the past couple of weeks and even months has been linking Ashton Jeanty to the Raiders at number 6. That's all everybody has been wanting and hyping up, and for good reason too. I'm not hating on the pick, but I understand it. Ashton Jeanty is easily the number 1 running back in this year's draft class, and it does fill a position of need for this team. But as much as I see a lot of Raider fans, a lot of reporters, a lot of NFL draft analysts mocking Ashton Jeanty to the Raiders at number 6, it kind of makes me feel like we're actually not going to get him at number 6. I feel like it's going to be a whole different pick, and we're not going to expect it, or it's going to be somebody that we don't want at number 6, which I hope to God is somebody good. I mean, the last time we actually picked at number 6 in the first round was selecting wide receiver Tim Brown, and look how that turned out for us. So with that said, though, Raider Nation, do you believe that the Raiders will draft Ashton Jeanty with number 6 overall, or do you think we trade out of that pick to give another team the opportunity to select them? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now, moving on to some other bit of news, especially on draft day, it seems like the Raiders could possibly trade away our former first-round pick, Tyree Wilson. According to Adam Schefter, he listed several players who could be available during the draft, and Wilson was on that list. Tyree is entering his 3rd year. Though he has had a slow start to his career, I do believe that his best football is ahead of him. And I don't believe that the Raiders should trade him away, but I understand with the new regime, if there's players that they don't see fit their offense or defense, I feel like they're going to cut ties. And he's not the only name that has been brought up in trade discussions. Another name has been Aiden O'Connell. So, and just like that same situation, if the Raiders do trade away Tyree Wilson or find a trade partner for him, I do see the Raiders addressing that position or getting another defensive lineman, defensive end, defensive tackle, whoever it may be, somewhere in this draft. And it's going to be somebody that could come in and start or even be a rotational piece. I just wouldn't want to give up on him too early. I know a lot of people may call him a bust, but I think that he's slowly finding his footing in the NFL. And it would kind of suck to trade him away to a team that gets the best out of him and he goes out there and becomes a Pro Bowler. Who knows? I mean, I doubt that might happen, but you never know. It just kind of sucks to see that the Raiders are starting to let go of a lot of homegrown talent, and these are talents that you would want to keep on the team and hope pans out for the team in the long run. So with that said, Raider Nation, what are your thoughts on Tyree Wilson? Would you guys trade him away, and how much would you trade him away for? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Like I said before, I know this is draft week and we're all excited, so tomorrow I'm going to be dropping my final mock draft for our Las Vegas Raiders. I'm going to go into depth with each and every single pick and give you guys my last thoughts. I've done a lot of mock drafts this year throughout the offseason after, a couple of years of not even doing one, but I'm really excited to put this one together for you guys, the Raider Nation. So with that said, if you guys haven't already, man, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification icon button to notify you guys when I upload more videos just like this. Until the next video, this is your boy, some more Raider, and your boys, yeah.